B. How do I write that as an exponential? This 125 over 8. All right, I did this one intentionally because the negative exponents have given some of you trouble on these. What does a negative exponent do? Okay, I have to solve for x. What would you do next? So then I can divide. Then how do we get rid of a cube root? Or sorry, a cube root. So we get 2/5. One thing to remember, both the base and the argument have to be positive on these. So 2/5 is fine. Okay, C. How do I write it as an exponential? For the 3/2, you could put it in your calculator. It's just saying the square root of 4 to the third. What's the square root of 4? 2, and 2 to the third? D. I flipped the sides of the equal sign, but we always start in the same place. You start with the base. So it's 1/2 to the x power equals the cube root of 16. What do I have to do on this one? Okay, you have several options. So we have the cube root. We could write that as an exponent, or I did also here cube both sides. Would both options work? Okay, which one do you want to do? The easiest? I think it's really toss-up. Cube both sides? If I do that, what happens to the x and the 3? What do I do with those? Yeah, so it becomes a 3x. All right, we have to get a common base here. 16, I need that to be 1/2 to a power. Two to what power equals 16? 4. So to put it on the bottom, it would need to be
-4.
So we get -4/3. So I tried to do some similar to questions that people have been asking me about a lot. Radicals are still getting a few of you. When there's a radical, what kind of exponent is that? Right, a square root is a 1/2, so a 4th root would be a 1/4. Okay, if I say expand it, that means everything gets its own log. So I have log base 7. On the top, I have an x minus 2 to the 1/4 power. Where does the exponent go? In front. Both the x and the y are on the bottom, so what will I do with those logs? Minus the log base 7 of x squared. Where does the square go? The y was also on the bottom, so that's subtracted log base 7 of y to the 3rd, so the 3 comes to the front. Can I break apart this x minus 2? No, we can break apart things that are multiplied or divided, not added or subtracted. So that's as far as that one went. All right. The condensed one, I tried to do something like 6C. There were a lot of questions with that one yesterday. So if I am condensing these, that means I only want one log in my final answer. So I have my log base 5. A fourth root of x is like what power? 1/4. What would happen with this 16? Goes up to the exponent, right? Yeah, you could write it as 16/4. Same thing. All right, this log was added, so that means I'm going to multiply my 3x squared. This log is subtracted, so I have to divide my 9. But I did give you that one on your homework where you had to simplify things. We can combine some of this. What is 1/4 to the 16th? Yeah, you multiply those exponents. All right, we can keep simplifying that. X to the 4th times 3x squared. Is there anything else we can do to simplify? 3 and 9 would reduce. So that's x to the 6th over 3. Whoops. So that one on our homework, we did have to simplify just because we had some things we could combine. So I did another one like that. Anything else? On the graphing, make sure you do your parent function and then transformations for those. Remember, your exponentials always have what kind of asymptote? The logs have the vertical asymptote and the exponentials have the horizontal, right? That's the difference between the two. But when in doubt, make your t-chart and go from there.